I'm very proud of a lot of the work we've done in terms of diversity and inclusion on screen. When we did Coco, for instance, at Pixar, a great example of that, or Tiana, or of course Black Panther is one of the great examples of that. I allowed those things to make me feel a bit complacent in a sense. It's not that I wanted to be that way, but I thought, wow, we did Black Panther. How great are we?
The only thing that's nice about this is even though it's a Tuesday, it feels kind of like it's a Friday. Peter, where are you going?
Last day on Earth, last chance to do this. I'm going into the inner city and I'm gonna yell the N-word. They respected me for saying it.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and I have a great Valentine's Day gift for you. Well, it's me, and it's this story. I hope you like it. If you do, make sure you leave a like on this video. If you haven't yet, please do consider following and or subscribing down below. It helps an absolute ton. That would be greatly, greatly appreciative of the support. Now, a new video released shortly after the event that was worse than 25 9/11s, according to our government. Apparently, there was some sort of Zoom call or insider telephone call with then CEO Bob Iger, chairman, that has now been released to the internet thanks to the work of Christopher F. Rufo, an exclusive report that is hilarious because it really shows kind of Disney's descent into political propaganda and their decision to go woke. Bob Iger basically praises himself for releasing Black Panther. It's like, I'm not racist, I make black movies. It's so funny, and we're gonna get right into it right away. This particular topic is insane. So exclusive, in January 2021, then Disney chairman Bob Iger told employees that he was committing the company to, quote, taking a stand on politics because of January the 6th. Here we have, in 4K. Now, I don't think many people, who have seen the content that Disney has put out would think anything otherwise. But now we know the actual reason why. He then praised himself for making Black Panther, which he said was an example of diversity and inclusion.
Well, Bob has talked about this eloquently since he's become CEO. I'll say a couple of things about it. We've tended to shy away from politics. And in doing so, I think we've shied away from talking about issues that aren't political at all, like the issues that we're talking about today.
So right here, this call, January 2021, was the nexus of woke Disney, was the nexus of string movie after movie after movie, losing hundreds of millions of dollars.
As we believe in doing so, maybe it looks like we're taking a stand. Well, in that reality, we should be taking a stand. By the way, I take responsibility for this. I was CEO for 15 years. And so I manage the company's public-facing processes and how we were portraying ourselves. And I think that we have to be less cautious, as Bob, I think, was just alluding to.
He's talking about Bob Chapek, who was the CEO at that time. So in 4K, Disney saying internally, we need to get political. So no more of this gaslighting from mainstream media about, oh, you're just imagining it. You're just seeing politics everywhere. I don't know how many internal calls Christopher Rufo himself has leaked. It feels like at least a half dozen. I believe he was also the person, if you're not following him on Twitter already, definitely do. I believe he was also the person that put out the video of the Disney employee saying that they have a not at all secret gay agenda. There was also the call from the woman, the middle-aged white woman, where most of this stuff initiates. Not my viewers, but a middle-aged white woman who just happened to have 2 kids that were both trans. What a coincidence. It's almost like nature versus nurture is a thing. And made that her life's mission to trans up movies. We've seen all sorts of clips like this. This is no longer deniable. When somebody tells you you're just being goofy, or, you're looking for, things that aren't there. I mean, here is from the horse's mouth.
About such things and not be concerned, like just commenting about what happened in Washington last week. That's not political on our part at all.
Yes, it is. You make children's movies. Shut up and make children's movies.
We know that what we saw was fundamentally wrong and that it was rooted in hatred and disrespect.
I wonder if they would have said the same things about the riots that caused billions of dollars in damage. Those were fueled by hate. There may have been some good, well-meaning people out there who were actually protesting against, for police reform, sure. But what about all those people that burned down cities? What about the people that burned down Kenosha, Wisconsin, in my state? How come Disney didn't want to say anything about that? Is burning buildings down not hateful, Bob Iger? I think it is. I think that the Summer of Peace was essentially a get out of jail free card, literally, for garbage humans. They got to go steal and rob in old, what's his name, St. Floyd's name. Congratulations to him on 3 years being sober or whatever. They got to go out and do all of that and then pretend they were righteous, when they were really just hateful garbage people, most of them, in my opinion, who were out there being terrible and using that as an excuse. I wonder why Bob Iger didn't want to talk about that.
And contempt and intolerance. And we should feel free as a company to comment about that without retribution. And another thing I want to say that I've learned.
By the way, you can comment on it. That's fine. But you don't get to not have backlash. So he thinks that Disney should be able to make political statements, but we're not allowed to dislike them, or we're not allowed to vote with our wallets and not give them our money anymore.
These last 9 to 12 months is, I'm very proud of a lot of the work we've done in terms of diversity and inclusion on screen. When we did Coco, for instance, at Pixar, a great example of that, or Tiana, or of course, Black Panther is one of the great examples of that.
He is the king of the blacks. I just am reminded of the Peter Griffin episode where he says the N-word and he's like, they made me their king, or something like that. I don't forget what the lead up to that joke was.
I allowed those things to make me feel a bit complacent in a sense. It's not that I wanted to be that way, but I thought, wow, we did Black Panther. How great are we? And it caused me.
You mean you took an existing IP that everybody already liked and made a movie about it? So what is the implication? That you weren't making that movie before because of black people? You made the movie to make money. You didn't make the movie for diversity and inclusion. Black Panther is a wildly popular IP. That was no risk. Black Panther was already a part of the MCU.
To not focus as much as I should have on the culture of the company and the environment and in the voices that were telling those stories, as opposed to just how they were being portrayed on the screen.
So there you have it. You see, Disney's descent into DEI and the woke mind virus in all its entertainment products has proven a debacle in every way. In 3 years, its net worth has been cut in half. It has lost 13 million streaming subscribers, fired 7,000 employees, lost billions in movies and streaming service, lost a federal lawsuit against the state of Florida, settled another lawsuit with the finance company TSG for underpaying them by hundreds of millions of dollars, and now face a celebrity lawsuit, that's Gina Carano, accusing Disney of unlawful termination and discrimination. And Disney has lost its family audience. Why is Wall Street supporting the Iger regime? Well, because, again, along with the message comes a lot of money. A lot of it. And when people, you don't necessarily have to understand all of the ins and outs of that, but just know that, you hear these companies, BlackRock, you hear people like Soros, look where they're investing their money. I'm not racist. I have black movies. Bob Iger is and always be the far wokest. Disney went from uplifting, family-friendly, safe entertainment to woke, indoctrinating trash in just 10 years. Price is Right horn, the Marvel's end box office run as lowest grossing MCU film in history. Well, are you following this other story? I've got a standalone video on it. Are you following this? The Madam Web movie, another diversity and inclusion story, has a 17%. It is an absolute terrible movie. The only people who are going to pay to see this movie are people that are trying to touch a boob during the movie, or YouTubers who want to watch it so they can make a bunch of money laughing at it. And more power to both. May both of their journeys lead to bountiful, fruitful days. But this movie is going to, I think I haven't even seen a single commercial for it. Have you? Have you seen anything for it? I haven't. They're not even advertising it. Here you have Koimoy saying, Dakota Johnson's Madam Web to struggle with below $30 million extended weekend. Oh, is there a holiday this weekend? And a random movie about Bob Marley is gonna outperform it. During the 6-day extended weekend frame, the film is expected to range between 30 and 35 million at North American box office. This range of a collection looks like a decent regular 3-day Friday to Sunday weekend, but for 6 days is clearly not up to the mark. Well, it's not. It's worse than that. I think it's going to do worse than that. And then you also have this other video here, exclusive in 2021. Then Disney CEO Bob Chapek announced that the company would create a racial quota for its charitable giving and spend at least $1 billion on, quote, diverse suppliers, a euphemism for race-based discrimination against white and Asian-led firms, all
Bob,
in 4K.
I'm curious, the other Bob. This is a bit convenient. Murder
juju. And
here's Bob Chapek. You're worth $200 million and you can't get a microphone.
Addressing that in a number of different ways. By the end of this year, at least 50% of our charitable giving will be directed to underrepresented communities, including a new program that invests in underserved youth and hopefully helps create a new generation of diverse storytellers and innovators.
You won't get that. People either have it or they don't. It's a talent. People either have the talent or they don't. It doesn't matter their skin color. I don't know how many times we have to teach Disney this lesson. At the end, he admits that the bully pulpit of Disney movies wields more cultural influence than any DEI program. Don't watch this trash. Don't support it. Don't let your kids watch it.
Creators and themes within that content that Carlos and others have talked about today. And I think it's important to realize that what people see reflected on the screen through our experiences and our work have an impact on how they then see themselves and the people around them. And so our stories have a lot of real impact.
Exactly. You want to know why they're into propaganda? It's because it works. This is from Disney's own leadership website. They have a chief diversity officer as second billing next to Bob Iger. And Tinishan peddled her DEI nonsense in government before this. She has no entertainment experience, neither does anyone on the board, thus no one to challenge Bob Iger. Blatant discrimination by race. Stop buying Disney products. Stop seeing their movies as a meme. There are plenty of ways to watch a Disney movie without giving your money to Disney. I'm just saying there's plenty of ways to do that without making Disney richer. As long as we continue to, pay for their trash, as long as we continue to have Disney Plus because we already paid for it or because it came with our cell phone contract or whatever that may be, the longer they get to push this crap. We have to tune out. We have to let people know why we tuned out and to continue. I mean, I don't know, if this isn't the final straw, then maybe you don't have one. And I understand sometimes your kids want to see a movie, and I think that's okay. Maybe pre-watch it first. Maybe figure out if there's any weird propagandistic messages in it. Maybe show them a movie from your youth that you know is good. Maybe show them old Disney movies that you can rent from the library for free or borrow or buy on the secondary market. These are all great ways to entertain your family that doesn't put money in Disney's pocket. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you share it far and wide, and we'll talk to you again real soon.